Hello and welcome to episode 86 of the Back 9 Six Pack, round 2. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. Straight up, we have not started off 2025 the way we wanted to.
It's not been good.
This is a tough scene. Just a quick recap for everybody. This, like I mentioned, this is round 2. We attempted this last night. Shout out to anybody that attempted to listen today. My audio was a complete just disgrace, utter disgrace. So we took it down and we are here re-recording. So apologies, the energy's a little different. We tried to come in with like big positive Happy New Year vibes. It was honestly a pretty good episode.
We did that in the first one.
And since then that happened, Justin fell in the parking lot of a YMCA. I shoveled my driveway, half of it, and then quit because it was so bad to do. It's just, like I said, total different energy tonight. We will struggle through together, and hopefully we at least give you guys some laughs along the way.
I'm ready. I mean, at this point, I'm ready. And for those that didn't listen to the one that we recorded last night, we were going to do a best of Patio Beers at the last 2 weeks when we were kind of traveling and doing our Christmas stuff and New Year stuff. Had technical difficulties with that. We're officially we're just going to chalk it up as 3 losses. We just call us the Bengals. Yeah, we're 0-3. So
yeah, not off to a great start. And honestly, that starts with us, right? That's full accountability.
Yeah,
Zach Taylor style. That starts with us. We got to be ready to go from the jump. Well, if you are here, thank you for being here, and please, as always, subscribe, rate, and review our show. Helps out a ton. You can follow us on social media at Back9Sixpack. Also over on YouTube. Assuming this goes well, we're going to upload the videos to YouTube this year. But who knows? This could be the last thing we ever do because we might get so discouraged if it turns out like shit. So if that's the case, it was fun while it lasted. Anyway, a lot of cool stuff on the docket tonight. We're going to go through our 2025 goals, recap 2024 goals. That was one of our favorite episodes to do last year. And it'll be good to kind of go back through, figure out what we did well, what we failed at, and then look forward to 2025, hopefully changing the energy of this podcast. But before we get to that, we're going to start off with a little pro golf segment here. Getting back into the swing of the PGA Tour season. It was nice to see Kapalua last week. Hideki Matsuyama, of course, getting that win. Big island vibes were good when the snow is down here and it's the middle of dry January, the start of dry January, not even the middle yet. So yeah, and then we're on to the Sony Open this week. So golf in Hawaii, it's back.
Yeah, and Hideki, he broke a tour record with a minus 35. That course is not that easy. I had a cousin that was in the Navy that has played that multiple times, and he goes, "It's just not that easy." Like, I don't know how else to explain it. That's just truly how good these guys are. I am looking forward to the Sony. It's kind of one of those sneaky, I think it's just because it's at the beginning of the season, it's just a sneaky good tournament to kind of get some golf watching in while it's cold outside. So,
yeah, I mean, you got the W with the palm trees, which shout out to our official caddy of the Back 9 Six Pack, Jay Green, threw up his annual picture of the W trees. And of course, there'll be a lot of good, remembrances of Grayson Murray, who was the winner last year. Rest in peace to him. And hopefully Jay's down there taking in the island vibes and, keeping things moving forward.
For sure.
And with that, we are back in the one and done this year. Not our best effort last year. We had like 5 different processes we tried. I still don't think we have an official process figured out. That said, we did talk through this a little bit last night. We can talk through it again just to kind of give our opinions on, who we were discussing and why we ended up on who we ended up on. I think you came to the table with JT Poston.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, JT Poston. So he came in 6th last year. What did we say? Final round 61. Not a lot of history outside of that. And then, in the Sentry last year, he came in playing well into the Sony. So, and I think it just kind of feels like a course he's good at. We don't want to burn anybody too high, although there's not someone other than really Hideki. There's not someone like super high that's like an absolute no-go for this tournament. So, Yeah. So I took JT Poston. And who was your pick again?
I look in the effort to not overthink it and just use quality players because I feel like a lot of times we tried to call our shot too often last year and it was a complete failure.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? Let's take a guy. I think he's like fourth, fifth, somewhere in that range in odds this week. Has played this course for like almost 15 years and has won here. I'm on board with taking Russell Henley, and I think after we talked it through and I kind of outlined the backdoor, fraudulent top 10 for JT last year,
Yeah.
I think you came around to my way.
Yeah, yeah, and Russell, I mean, he's got a lot more history. Um, I think we kind of forget some of these guys that are like these mid-tier players, like JT Poston. Like we feel like they've been around forever, but JT's really not been around forever. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have a ton of history. Russell history really that dates back over 10 years. So, and he always seems to play well. And I think you put it perfectly. Horses for courses. And that's truly that's the situation with him when at the Sony Open.
Yeah, this is a find your form kind of event, and we're just going to keep building as we get closer to elevated events, majors, etc. But yeah, for now, let's not burn the biggest of names, but take a guy that makes sense, right? I think that's kind of the play for the first effort of the season.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, that is it. Russell Henley is the official Back Nine Six Pack one and done pick of the week. Again, as always, shout out to Pat Mayo. He puts on that awesome field, awesome one and done tournament. It is I think there's 1 million guaranteed in the prize pool, 100K up top to the first place winner.
This is the year. This is
our
the
year.
year. This is it.
Yeah, we're manifesting. That was the theme of last night. We'll get to that as we go forward to the goals. We're manifesting this year. So right now behind me, can't quite see. It's on a commercial, but TGL is happening. We had a full breakdown of the teams and everything last night that no one got to hear. So I figure we come back. We'll quickly just kind of run through the teams in case nobody knows what this is. This is like the simulator golf league, essentially, right? They've built a massive facility with a huge screen. Golf holes are unique to the digital environment. Like they're built for this.
Yeah. And I think what people need to know too, and honestly, I just found this out about a week ago. Like they're not going to go like what we do when we go in a simulator, right? We're like, oh, I'm going to go play Pebble Beach today, or I'm going to play Spyglass, or, I'm going to play Pinehurst or whatever. They're not doing that. They're, if you think about it as like the original Tiger Woods golf games that had like the made up courses, Predator, all these, and some of them have like lava in the middle. Like it's kind of it is pretty interesting. I truly believe it's going to be interesting from a course standpoint. I think if I just saw correctly, I think they just played a 285-yard par 3 that was like over water to an island green, which it was pretty cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But if you want to run through the teams, I've got some thoughts on the teams for sure.
Yeah, we'll run through the teams here, and then please hold your applause until the very end, and we'll chat about them all after I get them all read off here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in the first year of the TGL. Atlanta Drive Golf Club. This is Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Billy Horschel, and Lucas Glover. Boston Common Golf is Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama, Keegan Bradley, and Adam Scott. Jupiter Links Golf Club, Tiger Woods, Max Homa, Tom Kim, Kevin Kisner. Los Angeles Golf Club, Colin Morikawa, Sahith Theegala, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood. New York Golf Club, Xander Schauffele, Ricky Fowler, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Cameron Young. Last but not least, the Bay Club, Ludwig Aberg, Wyndham Clark, Shane Lowry, and Minwoo Lee. Those are your 6 teams. Your thoughts?
Well, first off, I think there's an eclectic group of gathering for some of those teams. I think we need to talk about the logos first. I love the Bays logo. Obviously, Jupiter Golf Links logo is top notch. They've got the tiger colors and things like that. It looks like they're going to be red. As we watch now, the Bay. I'm a big fan of the green. I am not a big fan of who's on their team, but yeah, I again, and we'll see. I guess I don't quite understand how the teams ended up in these certain cities. Maybe they're just picking cities, or maybe the ownership of these teams. I don't know quite how that works. I probably need to do a little more research on that part, but I think so far so good. It looks fun, and I think the teams that they have are going to make things fun. The only thing that I found weird is, they only play 3 out of the 4 guys, so there's always going to be someone sitting out permanently that night that they play.
Yeah, I didn't dig into the format enough either, but I think the three player thing has to do with the format as well. It's 15 holes. There's like a 3-man alt shot. There's singles involved. They do a bunch of mixing it up. Plus, the schedules of these guys with the travel they got to do and all that just makes it easier. Yeah, I think we had decided on our teams last night. I have decided to cheer for Boston Common Golf Club. Mainly because, of course, Rory McIlroy, right? Keegan has made a big 180 for me, so I'm here to support that. And Adam Scott's just the guy. So Hideki is what I'm most interested in on this team because these guys are mic'd up. He doesn't speak English like in his interviews. He's always had a translator. I'm just really curious to learn more about Hideki. I hope this format gives us a little bit of a chance to learn more about him.
Yeah, and yeah, it's going to be interesting with him mic'd up. Specifically some of these guys mic'd up because, like Cam Young, like not very outgoing. You don't hear a lot about him. He's not really a face of the tour. He's not really spoken out against. He's not really like spoken out against anything or for anything or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting to kind of find out some of these personalities that we don't really know a ton about. Ludwig tonight. He's playing tonight. Still seems a little quiet so far from what I've seen. But yeah, so you went with Boston Common. Looking at the teams, I felt like I'd be cheering for the Yankees if I took Jupiter Hills or Jupiter Links, excuse me.
Yeah, and I need to put this on the record. I cannot pick Jupiter Links purely as a Tom Kim principal player.
You're a man of principle. So am I, and that's I've talked about it. I love the colors of the Bay Golf Club. Their logo's kind of sick too, but in good conscience, I cannot take a team that has Wyndham Clark on it. If I'm going to stand by my no juice comment, I cannot pick that team. So I decided, look, I love Sahith. I love Colin Morikawa. No problems there. I've grown to my brother was a huge Justin Rose fan forever, and I never understood it. I like Justin Rose now. Maybe it's in his older age or whatever. And then Tommy. It's Tommy Fleetwood. I can do the cheer, Tommy, Tommy, Tommy. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. That's who I'm taking, Los Angeles Golf Club. But just out of principle, there was just a couple teams I could not take. So
yeah, 100% with you. Yep. So yeah, I mean, we got New York Golf Club versus the Bay Golf Club tonight. We'll see the result of that. That'll be obviously that will happen before people listen to this, so we won't give any spoilers away or try to make any prognostications. Although it looks like the Bay Golf Club's kind of beating ass right now.
Yeah, so. And honestly, not surprising. I mean, look, I love Big Rick, and I love Matt Fitzpatrick, but they're a little outgunned tonight. Just the hair outgunned tonight, probably. And go figure, Shane Lowry just in these moments of like crowds and things like that, and kind of a rambunctious atmosphere. He's playing well, so I don't think goes to a surprise of anybody that's watched any Ryder Cups that Shane Lowry is playing well in an environment like this. So
yeah, I mean, obviously, if you look at it on paper, New York Golf Club probably would have been favored, I would guess, especially with Xander out there for them. But I will say the one thing I watched the first hole before we jumped on, and I would be terrified of chipping in this thing.
Oh yeah, off the turf. Oh my god, you want to talk about like Stub City? I mean, that is like absolutely terrifying.
Xander had one. He was short sighted by Matt Fitzpatrick, and it was just like it looked so nasty. I couldn't. Oh, he like barely kind of like chunked it up there, just kind of dribbled onto the green. Just oof.
So yeah. I just watched them hit a shot, and it looks like they're actually taking real divots.
Yeah, they play on real grass and
Okay.
sand. Yeah.
Okay, this is real grass.
Yep.
Are we sure that the green's not turf? Because the green looks like turf.
I think the green is turf. Yes.
So the tee box is regular grass. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
the tees are regular grass, and they have like actual sand for bunker shots.
I
Too.
figure, yeah, I saw them just hit a bunker shot about 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
and I saw real sand come out, so I assumed that was the case. But I don't know. It just feels like something that, and I don't know the schedule, but it feels like it's going to be nice to have this during the week and kind of get us through the cold months for us Midwesterners. Some people don't have to worry about not having anything to do for 3 months, but we do, and I think this is going to be a nice little touch to kind of get us through it.
Yeah, and just the last note I would say too is like these are a lot of the guys that are probably going to be making noise on tour this season.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just less like it's more time for us to get to know them, less time that the networks have to spend trying to like manufacture their story. And so that's good because we might get to see more golf shots during tournaments out of that, and we might, have a different perspective on a player and a more of a rooting interest, right? Just from seeing them more in this kind of environment, right, where they can be kind of more themselves and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's just again, it's the Bay is really taking it to New York, so don't hate that.
No, that's you and I both talked last night that the Bay was kind of like we wanted to get there, but we just didn't.
I just
so
couldn't.
That
I
could
just
be my
couldn't.
secondary team.
If I'm gonna die on that hill, I can't take the Bay as my favorite team. So
yeah, just can't do it.
Nope.
All right. Well, that's enough pro golf stuff. Let's go ahead and get into the goals. This is the meat of the episode. The reason everybody's here listening. We're gonna start. We're gonna go back, take a look back at 2024. I'm gonna kick it to you. Do you want to start just golf goals right up front?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Let's go through 2024 golf goals, and we'll start with the failures.
Okay. So my failures, first one was to win the club championship. I did not do that. Too many big numbers. I think other than like 4 holes, I was actually under par for the tournament. But those 4 holes were so gigantic that I just couldn't overcome it. Missed the playoff by 2. Win a match in the Met, our city Met. I didn't even make match play this year. Again, a common theme here. Tough first round kind of put me in a hole. So I didn't even make the match play this year. Qualify for a USGA championship. But I've kind of found out that, kids and traveling and vacations, I only got to play in one. And look, it's a numbers game. Like you probably need to play in like at least 2 or 3 of them to really have a chance. And I didn't get to do that. I played in the 4-ball, but we didn't qualify. We figured out pretty quickly that in the 4-ball in our section, it's right before the college season starts. So all the college kids were getting in their qualifier. They're, essentially their last qualifier before the season started. 13 under made it out in our 13 or 14 under made it out in our qualifier. It just wasn't going to happen. Loaded with Division 1 golfers. I mean, like you look down the range and it was like everything from a MAC school to a couple SEC bags. It was kind of ridiculous. Top 2 in the GCGA Mid-Am. Silver lining here, probably my best tournament in 6 or 7 years. I finished at 200 in 2 days, but I came in 4th. Missed 3rd or 2nd by, I think, 2 shots. But I still not top 2. +3 handicap, did not get to that. I'm at a +1.5 right now. No scores in the 80s. This one was broken in record time. I think it was my first round of the year, actually, on a golf course. I played in Cabo, came off a day of pickleball and drinking, and my back was just completely just an utter disaster for like the first 12 holes. I think I shot 82, but that was like broken in record time. I think it was like February 9th. It was done. So, but yeah, those were all my failures.
Yeah, I would say there's something to say for, just go ahead and if you're going to, miss the goal, just do it right. Right?
Yeah, no reason to take this thing to October or November.
Yeah, don't drag it out. Just go ahead and get it over with. Yeah, so my failures on the golf front, and there's going to be a lot of two things here. One, you're going to see some running it back for 2025 from me. And then also, I'm simplifying, I'm streamlining, I'm making this more attainable for me from just like some of these. I'll get into it, but you'll see what I mean. Number one, this goal will remain the same this year. I wanted to earn a handicap index that starts with a 5. I ended the season at 6.8, which sounds really far off, but at the same time, it was also my lowest of my career. So went from a 7.4 to 6.8.
Getting there.
Only a half shot, and honestly, didn't really do much to put into that, except for buying new irons and getting fit for new irons. So we'll see. I got some plans for that for 2025. This is so stupid. The second time reading it, it's even dumber. One of the ways I thought I would get there was simply by touching a golf club every day.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I actually bought a calendar last year and was like marking it off and even making notes on like what I did. So whether it was like hitting putts in the basement or practicing my takeaway or whatever I did, I got through about mid-February, broke the streak, and then just completely abandoned it. But I think the sentiment there was like just doing more, especially in the off season with golf, because I frankly haven't been doing that ever since not playing competitively, which has been like a long time. So yeah, we've got a different version of that now. I think I've got some actual, doing some actual real things during the off season. I wanted to record at least one round at or below par on each of the 3 nines at our golf club, Hamilton Elks. I did on 2 occasions on the red course shoot under par. On the white and blue, I never shot par or better. We'll get into that. That's another one I want to run back for next year. Okay, now here's the whole sequence of like, I want to win this, I want to win that. Tons of failures here. One, I wanted to play in the Elks Club Championship. I have not done that yet in the 4 years I've been there. I didn't even sign up, so that was just straight away failure. I wanted to win our flight in the Stampede, win the Stampede shootout, win the McGonigal, and win the Turkey Open. All L's. That said, I will say slight successes. McGonigal, we came in 3rd place. The Turkey Open came in 5th. And another close call at the member guest. This was actually a success. I just wanted to play in that one. I hadn't done it. Came in 4th there. So, mixed bag.
Yeah.
But technically not wins, so can't count them as successes. Those were all of my L's on the golf front.
So we're going to move on to successes. I think we've taken enough L's today.
Yeah, we've taken enough.
Gosh. So my successes this year, I did win. Well, I was the co-champion of the match play. Ended up tying after 18. We played the last hole in dark because we played in October, and then we just couldn't get another day on the calendar. But I fought my butt off in that match. I did not have my best stuff and managed to pull out a tie. So technically a success. Biggest success this year. My other goal was win the Stampede or McGonigal. We won the McGonigal this year with Gunth, which I'm always happy to take one of those home in a year for sure.
Yeah, we'll get to that too, I think, for 2025 goals for me. Was that it for your successes? Not to downplay.
Yeah, no, that was it. Not a lot of wins today. So
that's good. You've got lofty goals to get to. So we appreciate that. Successes for me on the golf front. Like I said, played the member guest, check mark. We'll roll that into another one for next year. Anyway, I wanted to record 10 league nights, 10 league night rounds without a double bogey or worse. I got to 9. And I doubled the last hole of the last week that I played to not do 10. So I'm going to count this as a win for me.
Okay. I know. I mean, you made it pretty far, right? I mean,
yeah. And that's the spirit of these goals, right? Like I say it all the time, if you reach for the stars so you land among the clouds, right? So this was a big point of contention for myself because the year prior I played like ass at league night.
Yeah.
And it was really just like rolling up after work, immediate double bogey to the face and then just mailing it in from there. So I really wanted to focus on just like, all right, let's keep doubles off the scorecard. We can handle bogeys. We can come back from those. As soon as the doubles happen, it's game over. So we got those out of the way. I wanted to play 4 non-Elks golf courses. Checked on this one. The Preserve out in Chicago for Gunt's Bachelor Party. A couple scrambles at Potters Park, Fairfield South Trace. And then a horrific round at Beckett Ridge, but I still did it. So those are the 4 non-Elks courses I played. And then last on the golf front here, too, I wanted to play golf with my son, Zach, at least twice last year. We did it 3 times, and he has had an increasingly more fun time every time. And this off season has been kind of in my ear about some golf stuff. So I'm getting excited. He's starting to get to that age where he's like kind of buying in, I think.
The best of all the W's there.
Yeah, easily. Massive, massive win. So before we get to 2025, I had a couple non-golf ones. I don't know if you had any from last year.
I didn't have any from last year, actually.
Yeah, so I had a couple. One, I wanted to do 3 sober months. So obviously I do dry January every year. It's an easy check mark. Figured I could try to tack on 2 additional ones. I got through another one, sort of did, and even kind of cheated this. It wasn't a calendar month. It was like a mid-February to mid-March, like 30-day period. Did not get a third one in. Had planned on doing like a sober October situation, and then just once the year gets off the rails, it's hard to get it back on. So that did not happen. Also had a goal of, I wanted to drop about 10 pounds before April 1st last year. A big part of that was going to be running the half marathon, the Flying Pig. Didn't do that because it was Gunt's Bachelor Party weekend, so never even signed up. Never really started running at all. And actually, my final goal was to get back to my quote-unquote fighting weight. Your boy actually put on weight this past year, so we went
bulking season.
It truly was bulking season. I think we talked about this. The shortened holiday window from like the late Thanksgiving into Christmas, where Thanksgiving was as late as it could be, was a tough scene for me in the just eating habits, because it was like just straight desserts on repeat for 4 straight weeks. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. So yeah, that was all for my 2024 goals. I mean, a mixed bag as always, but I think a lot of learnings took place, at least.
For sure. Well, on the weight front, I remember a couple episodes ago I said I was trying to net 0 during the holiday season. I did end up netting 0 because right before I went to Texas, like I had lost like 6 or 7 pounds, which I needed every bit of, by the way. Because I eat at all the restaurants down there. So net 0 on New Year's Eve, I'll take that as a win, for sure.
Oh, absolute win. Yeah, the net 0 during the holidays is like I can't imagine doing it.
Frankly, I couldn't believe it. I actually had to weigh myself twice just to make sure, because I was just an absolute degenerate for 2 weeks with the food I was eating. All the Mexican food, just all of it. So
yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, with that, we know where we've been. It is time to look forward to 2025, the year ahead. I'm going to kick it to you. Let's hear the golf goals.
Okay, so I've got some statistical ones in here, and we're going to start with those. First one is average less than 30 putts per round. I was at like 30.6 this year. Trying to get it into the 20s. I think that'll be a pretty good way to reach some of these other goals. And then my last statistical goal, this year I averaged 4.76 or 5 on par 5 scoring. I want to be at 4.5. Felt like I did not play par 5s well this year, especially at our course. They're very gettable. There should not be a lot of pars on par 5s for me. And actually I've had some big numbers this year on par 5. So I think if I can take the big numbers out, add a few more birdies, getting the 4.5 is probably not impossible. So on to the tournament, I guess, goals. We're going to run this back, win club championship and the match play, both in the same year. I think it's possible. Like I said, I was 2 shots out of the playoff. Didn't feel like I really played that great in the club championship. Match play, technically, I guess I was a co-champion of. So I was pretty close this year. I think next year we're going to try to run that back.
That would be such a sick, like, goal. Now that I'm hearing it for a second time and realizing, like, being essentially the club championship or club champion in 2 different formats, very sick.
Yeah, and just for the record, we had a guy win the senior club championship and the regular club championship this year, which is kind of cool. And
That's sick.
obviously I can't play in the senior, but this would be my form of kind of winning both of those things. I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Running this back again, win the Stampede or the McGonagall, not both, just one or the other. I'd really like for it to be the Stampede. It's been too long. I've had 2 McGonagalls since our win in the Stampede, but I'm not going to be picky. Not at all. Those are long days, man. They're both of those tournaments, specifically the Stampede. You do need to play well, but I think there's like a dash of luck that you need in winning the Stampede. It's just a grind. And so is McGonagall. I mean, it's 27 holes in a day. Usually it's 99 degrees out. And there's some luck that's involved in that, just like anything in golf, right? But with that big of a field and kind of a shootout style, like you definitely need some things to go your way. So winning one or the other would be perfect. This year I tweaked it a little bit, and for the Met goal, we just want to get back in match play this year, try to figure it out. I'd love to win a match, but I think that's a more doable goal, is just to make the match play. And just so you know, I just saw this last night. We're going back to Elks Run here in Cincinnati, and then we're the private course that's going to also host the match play is a course that I played this past summer, Coldstream Country Club, which I am looking forward to. That course it truly doesn't get enough, because we have Camargo here. For everybody that knows Camargo's top 30, I think they just got named the top 50 course in America. Camargo doesn't get its flowers like it should. It is truly an amazing course. I think if we didn't have Camargo, people would talk about Coldstream more. So looking forward to that tournament this year. A new one for 2025. I play in that tri-state tournament every year. It's back down in Kentucky this year, or in 2025. Last year, we tied for one of the formats. Out shot and lost in a scorecard playoff. We documented that in the past episode. And then we came in 7th as a team after really not playing that well the first day. This year, I want to win a format, and I'd love to place top 5. Me and my partner in that tournament. I think very doable considering how we played last year. Last 2 here, golf goals. You're going to love the second one, but top 2 in the GCGA Mid-Am, we're going to run that back. Again, very doable. I think I'm so close. Just a couple things, go my way. I think that'll be easily doable. And then the last one, we're going to put this out in the universe. I will make a hole-in-one in 2025. That is officially on my goal list this year. And I feel like if I just put it out there, it's going to happen. I just watched a video last night. A guy had a hole-in-one in his first round in 2025. Would kill for that to happen. I would love for it to happen in Scotland, but we're not going to be picky. I don't care if it happens December 31st, as long as it happens this year.
Yeah, look, I'm on board with you getting a hole-in-one this year. I do not need you one-upping my hole-in-one, though. Come on. don't go to Scotland and make an ace. That's just
I can for sure tell you this. If it does happen in Scotland, I may not make it home. So.
That's tough. Honestly, this could be the rare situation where, if that happens, we're going to have like a separate party back home for you.
Yeah, I might just FaceTime. You guys can drink with us over FaceTime.
Yeah, I don't even know what the protocol is for an overseas one, but man,
I would tell you this. I would when the first league night I was back, I would buy drinks. Like it'd be one of those things that I'd kind of have to do. But I can tell you this: international crimes would be committed that night. So,
oh man, yeah. So, hey, manifestation. That's the way. I love it. All right. My turn for golf goals. Big theme of my golf goals here. We're going to stack goals. And as I mentioned, that is because we are stacking this year. It is now a verb. The stack system is in play for me. We are doing speed training. So, top level goal. I want to get that handicap index to start with a 5. I just got to drop literally 1 stroke this year. and we were there. So how are we doing that? Like I said, focusing on speed training. I've already started this. I'm halfway through the foundation of the stack system. For anyone that doesn't know what it is, like I said, it's a speed training system. It's like a weighted club essentially, and you've got use a launch monitor to just like kind of train yourself to swing the club faster. Did my baseline. I had a driver club head speed of 92 miles an hour, which is very close to me almost needing a regular shaft. Just to put it bluntly.
It was that is truly astonishing that it was that low. I would have never guessed.
Yeah. So that was translating to about a 218 yard carry based on an elevation of 1,000 feet and 70 degrees weather. Now, after about halfway through the foundation, my driver E speed, which is their estimated speed based on what you swing the specific weight of the stack at, I'm up 19 miles an hour, up to 111 potential club
Okay,
head speed.
that's a big gain there.
Big gain. I don't know how much that's going to translate directly to hitting a golf ball, but definitely will be faster than I was previously.
For sure.
That in carry distance would translate to a potential carry of 276 yards, which feels absolutely wild. If I ever did that on a golf course, I'd shit myself, to be honest with you. But anyway, like I said, these are theoretical gains that we're making. We'll, once we put an actual tee in the ground and a ball in front of me, we'll see what happens. But this is my approach this offseason. We're not just touching a club. We're doing something actually to benefit my golf game that should, in theory, help me shoot lower scores because I'm hitting it farther, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the measurability of this, my goal is to get my club head speed with my driver, so not just the estimated one, but actual club head speed to 110 miles an hour, which should be about that 270 something carry. And I want to make sure it doesn't dip below 105 throughout the course of the season. I mentioned this too as well to you. Might change this to a ball speed goal once I start getting to the range and figuring
Probably
out
not the worst idea.
Yeah, that's just a more efficient number. It encompasses both the speed and how I'm hitting it. So a much more it's a better number to track. It's not just swinging fast; it's hitting the golf ball well. So that's where I'm at with that. How I'm going to get there? I'm already halfway through one of these stack training training programs. I'm going to do 4 of them this year. They're about 6 to 8 weeks each. There's like you can do like maintenance. There's like kind of one-off ones too. They don't have to be actual full programs. You can do specific call out exercises and stuff that you can just kind of supplement.
Yeah.
So those will be thrown in there as well. And we're just gonna see where this shakes out and how I'm hitting it and how my body's feeling, and hopefully I'm able to, with some of the other health goals I have, I'm able to stay healthy as well and not hurt myself in the process of this. But yeah, that's where we're at on the training front. So other golf goals. I'm gonna run it back with a couple here. We're gonna do the at least one round on each of the 9s at par or better. I'm gonna record 10 league night rounds without a double bogey or worse. And then I'm going to get into a couple additional ones here. So I think last year I just did not play enough golf. My wife's going to hate me saying
just
that.
For the record, you did not.
But the almost probably 75, 80% of the golf, maybe more, of the golf holes I played last year were just in league. And when you're just getting out on a Wednesday night after work and playing 9 holes, you're just not going to actually get better at playing golf. I want to go play at least 8 non-tournament 18-hole rounds of golf. Give myself a chance to post some scores and actually, build rounds and build a season and build a handicap, essentially. So there's that. I'm also, this is what I talked about, simplifying. I'm going to take all those previous win this, win that goals, and we're going to boil it down to, I want to win at least one of our Elks Club events or the Turkey Open next year.
I think that's a good goal.
Yeah. I mean, of course we want to win them all. It's just not realistic.
Yeah, it's not.
And I think if you take the approach of like, all right, July or, late June to August or whatever is kind of tournament season, let's peak for at least one of the weeks during that window.
For sure.
So that is the golf specific goals for me this year. I have additional ones. Do you got anything on your end?
I do have non-golf ones this year. So I guess not. I guess on course. I want to do like simulator or range once a week. I think that's pretty doable, at least in the wintertime. I want to putt on my green in my basement once a week. Again, pretty doable. Watching a basketball game or whatever, or watching what we're watching now, the TGL, just pull the putting green out and hit some putts. Nothing crazy. Like, I'm not going to be down here grinding for 3 hours or something like that. But just again, it's kind of what you had last year. Just kind of keep a club in my hands,
Yeah.
so it doesn't completely feel foreign when we get the golf season. And then my last goal, not a golf goal or anything like that. I want to be under 100 or 210 pounds by the time I go to Scotland. I'm 238 right now. I did just gain a couple pounds. I'm on creatine right now.
Oh,
I'm
that's the
trying to
water weight,
juice,
baby.
dude. A lot of it is water weight, and it's funny. I just spent, I don't know, like 30 minutes in the sauna today, and a lot of that kind of disappeared. But I did gain. Like, we're bulking too. Like, I'm gonna be juiced. Like, I want to look. I need to make these sleeves on my golf shirts a little tighter. But
Oh yeah.
I think once I'm on it though, like, you kind of start, like, it's the initial water weight gain is kind of surprising for people. But I think once it's past that, I should stop seeing like the gains from the water weight. So
nice. I love it. I'll get into so I've got a couple health and wellness related goals here. Again, we're going to stack on top of one another, right? Top of the funnel. I want to get to my goal weight by July 1st, 2025. That would require me to lose approximately 20 pounds. That's plenty of time to do it. But how are we going to get there? We are going to complete at least 3 calendar months. I'm doing calendar months of no sweets and no alcohol. Already going to do that in January. I'm planning for April. That is the month before the Flying Pig Half Marathon that I've already signed up for. So we're just going to go into that race clean. Have to do it. It's going to be good for hydration. Going to be good for my overall health.
Again, you almost have to do it. Like, you're not going to try to run a half and have drinks in the same month. It feels almost impossible.
Yeah, and the good thing about April is it's still not, we're not quite into full golf yet. So there's no temptation of, the back 9 6-pack just kind of lingering there for me just yet. And then I'm like I told you too last night, I'm going to try, my plan is to do August, kind of do like a little post June, July detox, because we do a lot of golfing and a lot of having some beers on the patio during that time. I'm going to shoot for August. I'm probably setting myself up for failure, but if I shoot for August, I've still got 4 more months at the end of the year to try to get it done. So
that's fair.
We're going to try for those. I just mentioned I'm going to be running a half marathon. I'm going to do that in an hour and 58 minutes or better. And a big part of this weight loss goal, this overall health goal, another goal I have is to complete at least 1,000 miles of cardio this year. And I want 500 of those miles to come strictly from running, which I know I'm going to get to about 300 just from training and running the half marathon. So I have to find an additional 200 miles throughout the year of running. But the getting on the bike, getting on the elliptical, I'm going to count that stuff too.
Yep.
But I wanted to have a specific running goal versus overall goal. And honestly, I kind of think I'm going to smash this. As long as I don't get hurt, I think I'm going to crush this one.
So as a synergy, I said that I would do 750. And I am going to count, like, when we're golfing, like, if I walk, I'm counting that. Like, I feel like that's fair. I feel like that seems fair. But I'm off to a decent start. I am about 3 miles behind pace right now. But I also had like 2 days off in the beginning of the year. So, and the last 2 days have just been a cluster because of the snow days and things like that. So
yeah,
I'm going to try to do 750 with you. I'm not going to get to 1,000. I'm not running a half marathon. So that's going to be almost impossible, but I'll do 750.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. That one I'm excited about. It's nice to have like a big ass number in front of you and just to like slowly chip away at it. And hopefully see some progress towards some of this other stuff I want to do too.
For sure.
And then last but not least, I have a few personal goals that they don't really fit in either of those other two buckets, so put them on the side. One, I'm reviving a longtime goal of mine that I have failed to complete for several years. And it used to be I want to read 12 books a year. I wanted to read a book a month at least. Last year I read 0 books, and I might have read 1 the year before that if I was lucky. So we're going to read 6 books on here. I think I can accomplish this one. And I want to be intentional about actually like sitting down and reading. And I think this one ties into another goal that I have. This is a loose guideline, but I want to complete at least 12 no screen days or nights is how I'm describing this. It's not going to be a full day. It's 2025. Like, screens are going to be involved in our lives. But I'm trying to cut out some of the, like, I don't know, after dinner flipping on TV.
For sure. Yeah.
After dinner mindless
the mindless scrolling is a problem.
Yeah, so I want to be intentional about, like, all right, this, like, whatever that looks like, this day, this night, this chunk of time, let's put the phones away, keep the TVs off. We're going to play a board game. We're going to read. We're going to do whatever. Do something that's not sitting in front of a screen.
For sure.
And last but not least, I mentioned the playing golf with Zach twice last year, getting to 3 times. I'm upping that to 5 times. I think we can easily crush this one. He doesn't know it yet, and hopefully he doesn't listen to this, but, you know, he may or may not be getting a new set of golf clubs in the near future. So
oh yeah,
keep that on the side. Big guy's outgrown the set he got a couple years
probably
ago.
by a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna get that all sorted out for him, and he can join me out on the course. So those are my 2025 goals.
I'm all wrapped up there. I think we got some doable goals this year. Maybe a little more successes next year. At least that's the hope, anyway.
I think we've gotten a little smarter too. Like we did some consolidation. We're actually putting numbers to a lot of these now, where it's like, all right, we can actually track this.
Yep.
They're not quite full SMART goals, but some of them have, you know, many of the elements.
Oh yeah,
of a SMART goal. So,
yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to track these throughout the year for sure.
Me too.
All right. Oh, and on that note too, I forgot to mention the top. Please also, fan mail is always open for us. Send us a text. There's a link in the show description of each of our episodes at the very top. If you click that, you can just shoot us a text. Let us know what your goals are for this year.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Hey, let us know your successes and failures from last year.
For sure. Yeah. Love. We need other people to take L's with us. So
yeah, take an L with us. If you need an accountability buddy, you know, we got you on that front too. So let us know what you're planning for 2025. And with that, something you have to do in 2025, I'm going to need you to caddy for me in a any given round. I got to pick what kind of jersey you're going to be wearing. And of course, those who may not know, you know, we did an NFL team draft at the beginning of the season. We each took 6 squads. Pure win total was the goal. I had a resounding victory over Justin, and, you know, shout out to Tyler, who recommended that the loser needed to caddy for the winner in a jersey or whatever sports attire of their choice. So yeah, what are our thoughts here? What's the most hateful thing I could do to you?
Well, I said the first thing that kind of came to my mind was the Christian Laettner Duke jersey. Now, I know we're trying to keep it more NFL centric, but that truly would make a couple things. My grandpa would roll over in his grave. I would puke 10 times having to wear that jersey. I said a Michigan football jersey. I think specifically a Charles Woodson one would be terrible, but I think any Michigan jersey, those colors don't look good on me at all. The NFL one was hard because like we talked about the Giants, but I love Eli. Like, he broke my heart. We hashed that out in person. I told him, and, you know, I told him he had broken my heart many a times. You know, I'm trying to think, like, the 49ers have broken my heart so many times, but it's been in different ways, and it's been a lot of, like, the Packers just shooting themselves in the foot. Not necessarily like someone doing something to cause it, but I don't know. I mean, I know you said Brett Favre Vikings jersey. they never won like a Super Bowl with him. Like if they had won a Super Bowl after he left here, I think I'd be pretty butthurt about that.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And so, I mean, that wouldn't kill me too much, but those are kind of the options I was thinking of.
Yeah, lots of good stuff there. The good news for you is like I've got, or for me, I guess, is I have ammo. There's good options. I have options.
Yeah, and it's like the Bears are our rivals as Packers fans, but like you got to win games to be a rival, right? Like they've
Yeah.
won one of the last 12. I almost feel sad for them at this point. So that wouldn't really make me hurl at all. I'm telling you, I'm starting to hate the Lions more and more, but we can get into that, I guess. I don't know. They turned heel, but that wouldn't make me puke either because I still like Dan Campbell. I think he's an awesome coach. So,
I could go
oh my
over.
God, that actually might be that might be the one because I do not like him, and I like I guess I don't really like the Lions too much, but
Yeah.
and I'm starting to really not like them, but. That would double dip on all the things.
Yeah, that'd be the Michigan. Oh man, I get one of those sweet like half Michigan, half
Oh
Lion
God.
jerseys or something made. It
Oh.
would be yeah, especially if they go on to win it all this year. That'd be double fun.
Oh
So
God.
stay tuned to that. But how we got to this point, my team finished 64-38. Your team 55-47. Some good things we did, some bad things we did. The overwhelming thing that we got wrong was leaving the Buffalo Bills out of this draft.
Truly amazing.
Yeah, they finished 13-4, run away with the AFC East. You took the Dolphins as your second to last pick. At least they came in second. You didn't step on the Jets.
No, we should have known how bad the AFC East was going to be, and with Josh Allen, like they were just going to win a lot of games in that division, whether their defense and everybody else was bad anyway. So
Right.
they have by far the best quarterback in the division. I cannot believe we didn't see through the talk.
Oh yeah, that we were trying to predict an early downfall, and just anytime you're trying to do that,
Backfired.
with a quarterback like that who's a MVP favorite, that was a mistake.
Yes.
You kind of got bodied getting the Niners with the first pick. Like that's tough. Just disaster season for them. They finished last in the West. Like that.
Like that's the thing is like it would have been one thing if they went like 9-8 or 10-7. It's like
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought that was their floor. I thought
Right.
9-8, 10-7 is probably the worst they're gonna do. Especially in that division, it's not very good.
Mm-mm.
Like, you have a resurging Geno Smith as the quarterback for the Seahawks. The Arizona Cardinals are just a dumpster fire. Kyler's too busy playing video games. And the only other team you really have to worry about in that division is Matthew Stafford. And, like even their roster outside of a couple guys is like not that good. Like their offensive line's not good. So it's, you're kind of thinking like, God, they're going to win a lot of games in this division. And they just injuries and Brock Purdy's a fraud. We all knew that. I should have listened to myself. But that was the worst pick. I mean, going 6-11 is my first pick. Just that really probably what killed me. If they go 11-5 or 11-6 or even 10-7, I'm right in it. So
yeah, I mean this. Honestly, this draft is. That happening and you taking the Bills instead of the Jaguars away from you winning. So
yeah. The
honestly,
Jags was another one.
You taking the Bills instead of the Jags, you would have ended up one game shy of me just with the Niners going 6-11. So
Yeah,
that's tough. We got 6 playoff teams out of the 14. That's not great. Somehow,
yeah, that's
didn't
really
manage to
terrible.
get
Actually,
more than half. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And we only got 5 of the 8 division winners. The Chiefs, Lions, Texans were all on my squad. You had the Ravens and Eagles, and then the other playoff team was the Packers on your side as well. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy with how my squad turned out. If I had stuck the Bills in there, it would have been just an absolute obliteration.
Oh, it was just it would have been bad.
Instead, I took the Cowboys to round out my roster with that pick. So, mixed bag, but hey, we're on to the playoffs. Your Packers are playing this Sunday, 4:30 p.m. on Fox. Tom Brady on the call. Feeling good still? How do we feel?
I feel good. Well, I mean, I didn't realize this, but Jalen Hurts has still not been cleared to play. Um, Didn't know that. And it would be one thing if it was Monday, but we're in Tuesday and he's still not cleared to play. I know that can change with concussions and stuff like that. I feel good with him even playing. I mean, if you look at it, he's not had like the world's greatest year. You know what I mean? Like he's not even top 10 in QBR, which is a telltale sign of playoff success outside of a handful of guys. I think there was 4 guys. What did I say? There's 4 guys ever that were outside the top 8 of QBR that have made a Super Bowl, and that's Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, and surprisingly, Jared Goff is in there as well. But they had like a historically good defense that year on the Rams.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing is like the Eagles defense is like nothing to like ride home about. So I still feel good whether Hurts plays or not. I think this is our toughest game. Even though we'd have to probably go to the Lions after this, I think mentally this is our toughest game. Playing a non-conference, non-divisional team on the road, and Philly's just hard to play in general. But I do feel confident. I do.
Yeah, that'll be definitely interesting to see. It's one of those things where you kind of assume that Hurts is going to clear protocol. Like most guys, they miss a week and they're back the next. But yeah, they're all different. All concussions are different. You never know. I'd be shocked if he doesn't end up clearing.
Shocked. Yeah.
There is a chance that he may not. So
yeah, I think Wednesday's just from what I've read, like Wednesday's the big day. I think they do an initial test on Wednesday, and I think he gets another chance at it like on Friday or something like that, or Saturday to try to clear protocol. But yeah, I would be shocked. But even if he plays, I feel confident. Not crazy about Christian Watson going down with a torn ACL. Although if they're going to lose a position, that's probably the position they can afford to lose somebody at. They're relatively deep in the wide receiver position. So I think Josh Jacobs has been underappreciated this year with Saquon doing what he's done because he's just had an incredible year, his best of his career after leaving the Raiders. So yeah, I'm confident. I just think if we can get past this one, the confidence level goes up, playing a divisional team in the next round. So that they've relatively, the last time out at Detroit played really closely. So
yeah, that's to your point. Like if the Eagles are off the board, like the NFC opens up in a big way. I mean, the Lions obviously are the 1 seed. And they were 15-2. They're an awesome team, but beyond the Lions and Eagles in the NFC, it's very, very wide open. So,
well, I can tell you this: like I actually talked to a few Detroit fans I know today, and I'm like, who do you want to see in the second round? And he joked for a second, like, oh, we'll take anybody. And then he was like, I kind of don't want to see the Packers, because it is. You play a divisional team, it's just harder because they know you like the back of their hand. You play them twice in a year. A lot of both of these teams kind of have the same guys over the last 2 years. So really you've played them 4 times. Like they just know who you are. It's the same way with the Bengals and the Ravens and stuff like that. Those games are just going to be inherently closer if the teams are relatively even in talent, just because that your guys' each of these each person's tendencies and things like that just a little bit more. So
yeah, 100%. Yep, and then on to my loser team that did not make the playoffs. Shout out Carson Wentz and his fedora. Thank you for your service there. We talked about this yesterday. They took the right first step for this offseason. They had to make changes, let go of Lou Anarumo, a couple other defensive assistants, and maybe most importantly of all, if you're a Bengals fan, I think we've all felt this way for a while. Like Frank Pollock needed to go too. They've had enough players come through there that it can't strictly be a player problem, right? So yeah, offensive line has to be better next year. Defense has to be better. They're starting by making changes, and I respect that. So we'll see where it goes from there. Obviously, a hugely disappointing season. I don't need to beat that horse anymore because we did that plenty throughout the year. But but yeah, kind of, you know, the Super Bowl run took us by surprise. Then, Joe Burrow's been in and out with injuries. He has this MVP level season, but the team's not good. It feels like we're heading into like another iteration of this Joe Burrow era. So it's interesting to be a fan when in an off season like that. So there'll be a lot to watch on that front. Before we move on, got to make some Super Bowl picks. I know at the beginning of the season, you and I both had the Bengals in there. They didn't make the tournament, so that's out the door. But I had the Lions on the NFC side. They lock up the 1 seed, feeling pretty good with them. I'm going to stick with the Detroit Lions to make it to the Super Bowl. And like I said, I want to have the most fun Super Bowl out there. I wanted Bengals Lions partially because, like, hey, somebody's gonna get off the mat. We're gonna get a first timer here.
Yeah.
Give me the Bills on the AFC side for that exact reason, right? Like, let's have these two franchises, honestly, historic NFL franchises that just haven't gotten there.
Yeah.
Some bad luck along the way. Let's get someone off the mat and get them their first one.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on the Bills. I think it's their year. I really do. But I'd love to see the Bills out of the AFC. And I'm going back to my QBR thing. That, like, other than some Hall of Fame quarterbacks, like that sticks, right? So you start looking at QBR. There's certain teams that get thrown out, but I think I'm sticking with the Packers. I had them in the beginning of the season. It's a homer pick. I know, I get it, but I believe in this team. I believe in the coach. Other than when he tries to challenge a play, he's like 1-6 on the year. By the way, he just won his first one in game 17. But other than that, I trust the coach. I trust our defense with our defensive coordinator. So I'm sticking with the Packers. I'm going to go up against the Bills, but I am going to take the Bills again. I think it's their year. I think Josh Allen's going to just solidify his legacy in Bills Mafia forever and get them their first Super Bowl. If the Packers did make it that far and they lost to the Bills, I would be a little upset, but I wouldn't be nearly as upset as I would because I love Josh Allen and like Bills fans are hard. Like they're like that brother that you want to hate, but then you're like I want to see him do good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But that's kind of how they are. But I think it's the Bills season this year.
Yeah, I feel that way about the Lions. I think, they're very injured. That could rear its head at some point. But I just, I'm with you. The Bills and Lions kind of feel like the collision course, the Super Bowl that would be the most fun. So I'm gonna go with that. And I'm gonna take the Lions. I just think there's some magic there. I don't know exactly what it is, but
that hurdle's so hard for organizations that have had just the absolute struggle. We saw it last year with them. They went up early in San Francisco, kind of crapped down the bed a little, kind of crapped down their pants a little bit at the end of the game. Look, if they get in a tight game, like that is good. Like whether they want to admit it or not, that is gonna be in the back of their head. That's gonna be in the back of mind of Dan Campbell. And with the way he likes to gamble, does he try to start forcing things just because he feels like he has the upper hand and it ends up costing him? I think it's going to cost him at some point this year. It did last year. They made some stupid decisions in San Francisco game. Like he should have punted a couple times and they didn't with the lead. So we'll see. I look, they're a division rival ish. I don't really count them as rivals. They've been good for about 3 years now, 2 years, really. I don't know. It's a tough hurdle to come over, and I've seen it through living in Cincinnati my whole life. Like winning a Super Bowl is hard. It's especially hard when you've had the amount of heartbreak that they've, that organization's had. So
yeah, I totally get it. The one thing I will say is the path on the NFC side, from their perspective, is pretty clean. Like they get to play these games at home. There's just not there's a ton of teams that have a lot of wins in the NFC, but it doesn't feel like it's very deep. On the AFC side, it's like a meat grinder at the top, and it's like institutional teams. Like you got to get through the Chiefs. You probably got to play the Ravens. Like you're talking about teams that have with head coaches that have been there and stuff like that. on the AFC side that it makes that bracket just so it's just a grind.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't like the Chiefs. Their starters are not going to play a football game for like 23 days. Look, I know they're pros and that's Patrick Mahomes, but that feels like a lot of days without football, like actual game football. Like I know they're practicing, but like actual game football, that feels like a lot of days. And I think that might end up backfiring a little bit on them.
yeah, remains to be seen on that front, but that's why we watch, right?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. With that, I think it's time. First patio beer segment of the year, round 2. Also a dry patio beer segment, which is a little bit tough, but the spirit remains.
Yes.
The spirit remains. I kicked it to you, as
Yeah.
always. Let's
I'm going to switch this up. I'm going with a new question. I had this one in the holster for another day, but in honor of me wearing I got my Murray State Golf. Shout out to my guy Jacob Miller, who's the coach down there. It kind of spawned something into me, like about this. I was kind of thinking of this question today. So, like, if you could play, let's just say you're going to go play golf somewhere, right? But it can't be like, I know you like Michigan. Like, you can't be like, I'm going to go to Michigan. It can't be one of your favorite teams or favorite universities. Where would you go play golf at?
Oh, there's so many options. Oh my god, there's so many options.
I have like 2 in my head that I would almost guarantee it'd be one of those 2.
Yeah, I mean, just based on what's been built there, it's really hard not to say Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, just from like a facilities perspective, you're down south. It's that's a big ass brand. You're playing in the SEC, like that's a lot of opportunity there. But God, I wish the Pac-12 still existed. You know what I mean? Like I hate the conference realignment.
I do.
Because
Yeah.
going to Stanford and playing golf and playing Pac-12 golf would be sick. Like
Yeah, it would be.
I think that would be my call, except for the fact now I gotta ship my ass over to the East Coast and do this ACC shit now. So it's like it's a little different for golf. Like you play more kind of regional tournaments and stuff. But yeah, dude, those are the 2 that came to mind for me.
So I went with the other school in Alabama. I went with Auburn.
Oh, okay.
I really enjoyed their coach watching the NCAA tournament this year. I look a little better in orange, I feel like, than I look in red. So I number 1 was Auburn. And again, it's in the South. Like you're getting relatively good weather, right? Like
yeah.
You just are. It's not going to be like you might have like the one-off ice storm that rolls through, and you might not play golf for a week. But for the most part, like you're going to be able to play outside. And I was kind of thinking along the same lines as what you were thinking of. Something coastal. But mine would be Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
Again, I know it's Myrtle Beach. Like we've been there, we've all been there 1,000 times. But the DJ thing, like cool colors. They get that like turquoise. If you've never been there, their campus is awesome. Their facilities for a very small school, like they just built a new football stadium, I think like 5 years ago or something like that. It's really good. I've been to several Coastal Carolina baseball games. That is like a whole atmosphere in its own. I know I kind of miss out on like the big school football stuff, but Coastal Carolina would be the one that I think, would be up there to go to.
Yeah, I think one that popped into my mind too, if it's still, assuming it still exists, I don't know. But going to Augusta State would be sick just because of the
Still
Augusta
there,
National
yeah.
connection.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure you'd get to be able to get out there and just that would be an in to play Augusta National.
For sure.
But I think final answer, like I think I would take Stanford. I think Palo Alto, I love NorCal vibes. They have a great lineage, obviously. Tiger
Great
Woods
golf
living
courses
there.
too. Yeah.
Sick golf courses. Like I think Cali would be where I would go. I'd take it to Stanford.
Yeah, I think I would probably end up landing on Auburn, only just because like I thought about LSU, and the only reason is because like dude, they commit to golf. Like their golf program, they fly private everywhere. Like they've had enough guys go through and make some money on tour that like they fly private. Like Auburn does too, but like it, I don't know, something about being in like Death Valley would be kind of cool. Like, but I think Auburn would probably be the one I land on, just from a pure like you go to school, you're there to play golf, but you get the big school feeling of like big college football, and to have that experience as well. I think Auburn would probably be my final choice.
Yeah, I think Stanford's my final choice. I would like to punt Alabama and take LSU as my backup school.
Yeah, LSU
You're
would be
right.
sick. I almost went with them, but I'm like, I don't know. I hate purple, so it's like I couldn't do it.
Oh, dude, I think the vibe at LSU alone would be enough, and it's it's a good enough program. It's not like you're getting that huge of an advantage compared to Alabama.
Well, a lot of people are probably like, why not Oklahoma State? Like, obviously they're a proven winner, but like, look, I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to Oklahoma State's campus. I've been to Oklahoma's campus. Like, cool campuses, but like, why am I going to go? Like, if I can go anywhere, why am I going to go somewhere with this pretty much the same climate that I get here? I'm not going to do that. And again, that's no knock on Norman or Stillwater, both incredible college towns. They really are. But Oklahoma State, obviously, with the history, but I just wouldn't want to get beat up by their golf course every day.
That's what I'm saying.
Like their golf course is probably the hardest university course in the country, and that's saying a lot. I just would not want to get beat up there every day. Just couldn't do it.
It would probably benefit me, going to like the plains and playing in the wind and stuff. But like I hate playing in wind. So
yeah, I don't either. Yeah,
I don't need exposure therapy. I just don't want to do it. So
nope. I agree.
That's a fun question. I'd never consider that.
I'd like to hear people's. I'd like to hear people's opinions on that if they have one. No offense to my actual college golf coach Darby. I'm a Tiffin Dragon for life, but yeah. If I could go somewhere else.
I would also say, you kind of ruled out Michigan for me, but they do have an Alistair McKenzie designed golf course.
Yes, they do. Yeah, so. No, it's good. Yeah, it's crazy in the Midwest. We are stacked with university golf courses that are just beyond phenomenal. Scarlet, Michigan's home course, Foul golf course for Indiana. You've got Purdue, the camping course, which is a Pete Dye design. Just we are stacked with golf courses in the Midwest, especially college Midwest golf courses are probably some of the top 10, I would guess, in the entire country.
Yeah. No, that's a fun question. Nice work there. Good pivot. I'm going to run it back with my question purely because I need to put myself on the record for this answer. And also because you had two pretty good answers I had kind of forgotten about. So the people need to hear this. We have to run this one back. My question last night was, it's a time of renewal, new year, reflection, all of that. Looking back on 2024, what are some of the takes, some of the things you did, et cetera, that you would like to repent, you would like to, just hand up, say, give an apology for?
Well, I'm going on record now, officially and publicly, to apologize to Xander Schauffele. I called him soft as Charmin, and that he would only win. He'd only win a major on Valhalla, and then he proved me wrong like 2 months later. So, and I got exposed on Twitter or X. I've taken my lumps for that take, but I do want to apologize. Like I think in the moment I thought it was right, but I was dead wrong about that, and I do apologize to Xander. Not that he cares that I apologize, but it was the softest Charmin part that I think I should apologize for.
Well, two things on that. One, every time that you remind me that you got on Old Takes Exposed, it gets funnier. I can't get enough of it.
By the way, so many people saw that. Like I got they're like, "Hey, was that you that got exposed on Old Take? Freezing cold takes." I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." Yeah, the Xander Schauffele, yeah, that was me.
That is awesome on its own. But you know what? the New York Golf Club's down 7-1 right now. You might need to just double down instead of
Double down. No,
apologizing.
if I double down right now, they're going to go on a run, and then I'm going to have to
Uh,
explain myself again. So,
God, yeah, that's
uh,
good.
my second one, non-golf related. So back in like May, we had some squirrels get in our attic. You could clearly hear them. Like my wife kept telling me, "You got to do something about it." Well, then they just disappeared. They were gone. Like I'm like, oh, they just left on their own. Flash forward to November, they're back, like in full force. It feels like they're having a freaking disco party up in our attic. I let it go, end up causing enormous amounts of damage up there. Probably if I'd listened to my wife and done it back in May, we probably wouldn't have saved ourselves a crap ton of money. Those little things can do a lot of damage, tons of damage. On the record, we didn't talk about this last night. We caught 8 squirrels in our attic.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, they were. I mean, it was a full family. Like they were just hanging out up there. Not hanging out. They were running around like maniacs.
Oh,
But they caused a lot of damage. So if I'd have just listened to my wife, called back in May, got this taken care of, probably would have saved myself a ton of money, probably a ton of headache. But I was dead wrong about that. So I'm going to go on the record publicly and apologize for that as well.
look. Both of these are very big of you. I'm proud of you. This is
It's
good.
hard.
Good
I'm
moment.
I am a very prideful person. So
Yeah, I know you are. I'm a little less prideful, but honestly, this one, I this is a big step for me. This is a block that I never thought I would come off of. I was proud to be on this block. Um, felt like I was the only person on it, so it was one of those things in life where I was like, you know what, I'm going to stick to this because this is probably the most contrarian opinion that I hold. And I found out late in 2024 that I was just dead wrong. This, of course, I'm referring to. Many people who listen to the show will know I have long believed that Chick-fil-A was overrated. That was
incredible.
my spiciest food take, possibly my spiciest take in general because I don't have many. I'm unlike Justin. There's not that many hills I want to die on. Uh, but yeah, I was wrong. Hand up, straight up. I apologize. I can't apologize enough. And what really did it for me, we had to travel up to Detroit day after Christmas to go watch my brother-in-law play football, his last college football game. It was a bowl game against Pitt for the University of Toledo. We stopped at the Chick-fil-A in Perrysburg. We stopped here
Great
many
Chick-fil-A,
times,
by the
mind
way.
you.
Great
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A.
excellent Chick-fil-A. We would often hit them up on the way home just to get something to eat, before the kids fell asleep in the car. Well, we decided to do the reverse because it was like a weird time of the game. So we're like, all right, we'll go stop on the way up and get lunch instead of stopping on the way home. Uh, Phenomenal. The in an age where customer service is dying and you just get shit AI chat bots all the time, people in call centers across the globe, they are committed to customer service in a way that is exceptional and should be respected and appreciated.
Yes.
We walk in, there's somebody, this is like 12 o'clock on a Wednesday or the day after Christmas. There is somebody squeegeeing and cleaning the doors.
Yeah.
Immediately have to go to the bathroom. We've got, kids, we're going in the bathroom. Cleanest public bathroom I've ever been in my entire life.
Best bathrooms.
Primo, absolute best. You go, you order your food, they bring it to you at the table, and I swear on my life, I have never had better like service from someone who's not even making tips as a server, than the person that walks around and checks on you, says, "Hey, how is everything? What can I get you?" Making small talk with the kids, doing the whole thing. Just absolutely delightful. Completely flipped me. I was so wrong. Couldn't be more wrong about anything. Chick-fil-A rules. And it's a heavy burden that I was carrying around that unnecessarily. I'm glad to have it off my back, honestly.
I'll tell you, it is the best company in the entire world. Like I will stand by that opinion. And their menu, like I get something different every time now. I used to just be straight spicy chicken sandwich guy. I get the chicken club every once in a while now, which is a phenomenal sandwich. Get a little pepper jack cheese on it. And then, like if you go to the table, like you can get if you order a shake or whatever, you don't have to get it right there with your meal. Like you can get it afterwards. Like, yeah, either come back up like the one by us, you can wave the guy down. He'll bring the shake out to you. It's
Crazy.
just top notch service, and in a time where you just don't get that anymore.
No, and you know what? Going through the drive-through and stuff, and you get the My Pleasure, and where I was like, God, that's so corny. No, it's
No,
part of a complete brand experience,
yes,
honestly.
it is
And
100%.
it is to be commended in the
Yes,
year 2025.
100%. I'm glad you came off of that. We're glad to have you on the Chick-fil-A team.
I feel like I can breathe easier now that people, yeah, I was blind. Truly, I was blind. So, and now I can see. 2025, the year of miracles. What do you know? All right, that'll do it on this year episode. First one of the year. Look, appreciate everybody being patient with us. We did not get out the things we promised, and then we had this, this has come out a day late with the technical difficulties. So thank you for hanging with us and listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show if you've not done that already. Hit us up on social media at Back96Bag, and of course, shoot us some fan mail. There was a lot we covered tonight. We'd love to hear goals. If you have a TGL team you want to track, if you have suggestions for what jersey I need to make Justin wear, that would be great too. Anything and everything is open. Let us know. So until next time, cheers.
Go Pack.